Hey gals, welcome to Binge Free Bestie, the podcast where we ditch the diets, break free from binge eating, and build a safe and empowered relationship with our bodies. I'm your host, Nick Carberia, a registered therapist who totally gets it. Binge eating and body image struggles? Yep, I've been there, done that, and I've got the therapy bills to prove it. But here's the good news, bestie. I've recovered and I'm here to help you to do the same. This potty is all about real, evidence-based strategies from my therapy practice, plus down-to-earth, relatable girl talk with me and some of my amazing besties and other experts who have their own stories, tips, and tricks to share with you. So, whether you're tired of the diet cycle, ready to ditch the shame spiral, or just want to feel more confident in your own skin, then you've come to the right place. It's time to get real about food freedom, body acceptance, self-care, and building a life you truly love. Let's get into it, besties. Hey, welcome back, guys. I'm Nick, your food freedom hype gal, and I'm also a registered therapist who has lived all of this stuff, and I'm here to walk you through it. Today, we're going to be talking about some mindful eating tips, so how you can actually start enjoying your food. I know it sounds super cute on Instagram, and there's been a big wave on socials and such around mindful eating, but I also know it can be a bit confusing, and then sometimes it can even be overwhelming when you're thinking about how you can apply that to yourself in real life, because it looks really easy when you see it on socials. It sounds really simple, but I'm going to break it down and show you that, well, it can be simple, but you just need a little bit of a roadmap to get there, some tools to get there. And maybe you have heard it before, maybe you've seen it on your socials, people saying stuff like, well, you just need to eat more mindfully and you won't binge. And you're nodding along and you're thinking, yeah, oh, well, I'm trying that. I'm really trying. I've tried everything in the book. Even, Weight Watchers, or they're called WW now, aren't they? WW, even they have adopted some of these mindful eating practices and woven them into their programs, kind of stolen it and used it for evil, but that's okay. Even they can see the value in that. So mindful eating is really powerful, but it's not about like chewing on one almond 50 times before you can swallow it, because that is miserable. That is when that actually becomes a diet roll, okay? And it's also not about having perfect presence. Diet culture has definitely managed to stick its claws into the concept of mindful eating, so you might have a few warped ideas about what it actually is. So I'm just going to patch that up for you today and show you that mindful eating is actually about reconnecting with your food and reconnecting with your body so you can feel satisfied, okay? In the last episode I did, or one or two episodes back, we were talking about how to make more satisfying meals. And I briefly touched on mindful eating, but I didn't want to go too deep because that's what I'm going to do today. I actually have a whole module on this inside the breakup. It's called Satisfy and Savor. So I give you lots of different practices to help you to be more mindful with eating. But today I'm going to give you some nice, simple, therapist-approved tips so that you can start practicing it without the overwhelm, without overthinking it, and without any diet culture undertones. So it's going to be simple, and I will continue expanding upon it in other episodes too. So let's first talk about why mindful eating matters. So let's be real. Most of us, from time to time, or maybe all of the time, don't necessarily sit down and eat our meals. We just inhale them. So maybe you're scrolling through TikTok while you're snacking, or you're eating in the car, barely noticing. Maybe you're rushing through your dinner just so you can get on to the next task. Like the kids are running around and you're like, gosh, I have no time even to just sit down and enjoy this meal. I'm just going to inhale it and get those kids to bed. Like that's very, very real. And we're all guilty of this. And actually, I don't want to use the word guilt there because there's no shame in it. It's just life. Even me, even now, I can still not eat mindfully. So let's talk about this, because it really can become an issue when you are struggling with food, and it can keep you stuck if you are dissociated, zoning out, inhaling that food. It's an issue because if you're not fully present when you're eating, your body is going to miss those signals of fullness and satisfaction, and you're actually not taking any pleasure from that eating, which you deserve to have. So that's why you can go and eat a whole bag of chips and you still feel unsatisfied, because your brain didn't register the experience of eating. Okay, and also snacks like chips and popcorn are what I refer to as low staying power foods. So they really just slide down your throat. They're made of air and a bit of flavor and salt. There's nothing to them. So they don't meet your body's nutritional needs, so your physical needs, and you just end up eating more and more and more of them because you're searching for that satisfaction. But the satisfaction that you do get, maybe from the flavor and the crunch, that's great. That's taste satisfaction. That's mouth satisfaction, but it's not meeting your body's needs, right? So sooner or later, your body's going to drive you back towards food. So mindful eating is not just about slowing down either. Not just slowing down to be a good girl, because that is diet culture bullshit, okay? And we're not doing food rules, we're not doing diet culture around here. And we are definitely not turning mindfulness or intuitive eating into another diet, okay? The reason we want to do this is because we want to give our body a chance to notice, like, this tastes really good, or I'm starting to feel full, or actually I don't want any more, I'm all good. And that is where true satisfaction is going to come from. When you're satisfied, you're going to break that binge restrict cycle too. So definite perk there. So let's talk a little bit more about myths to do with mindful eating. So some of that other crap that diet culture has probably taught you about this whole mindful eating thing. So the first misconception that you might have, myth number 1, is that mindful eating means never overeating again. The reality is no. You are human and sometimes you will eat past fullness, and that is totally okay. So Christmas dinner, we pretty much all overeat that day, don't we? Or a birthday or a party, or whatever the special occasion is. We overeat from time to time, and that is totally okay to eat past fullness on occasion. Myth 2 is that mindful eating is a diet in disguise. So the reality is that mindful eating has absolutely nothing to do with controlling portions or eating the right amount or following a set of rules. It's all about awareness and connection, okay? And the final myth I'm going to share is mindful eating, you have to be totally zen all the time. No. The reality is that you don't need to chant over your salad or chew your mouthfuls 100 times. Mindfulness is just noticing that presence. So enjoying the food, it is supposed to be a sensory, pleasurable experience. It's an awesome part about being human. So no, you don't need to be afraid of that and feel like you need to be zen. Now I'm going to give you some mindful eating tips that you can start to apply. So mindful eating tip number 1 is I want you to start taking some little pauses when you're eating. So before you eat, pause just for 5 seconds, and I want you to notice the smell, the colors, the textures, because this little ritual is going to help your brain clock in for that meal. Okay? Tip 2 is pop it on a plate. So instead of eating from the bag or straight from the fridge, pop your food on a plate. This is going to create a really natural boundary, okay, and it invites you to experience the meal more fully. Tip 3, engaging your senses. So just noticing details, like I said before, taste, smell, feel. You don't need to write a big essay, but just being curious, really arriving in the moment and using those senses. Tip 4 of 5 is a mid-meal check-in. So halfway through that meal, I want you to pause again. So don't pause at the start and just really dropped in and arrived. And then partway through that meal, pause again and just check with yourself. Hey, am I still hungry? Am I enjoying this? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just about building that awareness, checking in with your hunger cues, your fullness cues. If I was going to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, how hungry am I feeling right now? If you're sitting at like a 6 or a 7, it's pretty much time to stop eating, right? Because if we go over a 7 out of 10, 10 being like you are so full you're going to puke, like you are uncomfortably full, you have to unbutton your pants kind of full, then once you get to about a 6, that's when you might start being, okay, I'm going to slow down, I'm going to put down my knife and fork and just see, in a few moments, am I full or do I want to have a few mouthfuls? It's an experiment. And tip 5 is dropping the judgment. So mindful eating isn't about eating perfectly. It's about being there, being in the moment, having some curiosity. And if you do overeat, reflect with compassion instead of guilt. So that's what a lot of the learning is going to happen. If you do overeat, it is a moment for learning, okay? And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I need more tips like this in my life, come join me in the breakup. The link will be in the show notes. Mindful eating is it's so much more than chewing slowly. And that was a huge misconception that I had. I really thought that mindful eating was like, just eat as slow as possible, chew X amount of times before you swallow your food, like totally pulverize it and murder it and take away all the flavor and the joy in that mouthful. But it's not. It's about rewiring that relationship with food. And that is part of my food freedom method. So yeah, I'd love to introduce that to you. So if that sounds good, check out the show notes. And well, let's just wrap it up for today, hey? I want to keep it short and sweet. So a reminder to wrap up this episode is that mindful eating is not about perfection. It does not have to be complicated. It's just a way to come home to yourself, a way to come home to your food, one bite at a time. So next time you are sitting down to eat, sit down, pop your food on a plate, take that breath, tune in, really taste the food, invoke all of your senses, do that check-in partway through your meal. That's all you need to do to start building trust with your body again and practice mindful eating. Sound good? I hope so. So I will bid you farewell. Go enjoy your next meal with curiosity. Drop those rules and just see how it goes. Flick me a DM if you've enjoyed this episode, and if it was helpful, please help me out by leaving me a 5-star review for this podcast, because when we review the potty, it helps the algorithm, pushes it out to more women. My goal for 2026 is to grow this podcast and build its momentum. So I'm building a food freedom empire here, and I want to reach as many women as possible. And this is a free resource that I offer to everyone, because I know it's not always possible to join me in my programs for whatever reason, doesn't matter. But I want to make sure that I've got something free out there in the world to help as many women as I can. So please review, please follow. That means that more people who need this will be able to hopefully stumble across it. Okay, that is it for today. I will see you again next week. If you have something that you'd like me to chat about on the podcast, just send me your recommendations on Instagram and I will pop it on my list of episodes to make. Okay, ciao.